Hi, everyone. Welcome. My name is Tala, and this is my colleague Sam, and this is our presentation on how to collect rapid response data responsibly with our methodology here at RIWI. After you, Sam.
Thanks, Tala. So why rapid response data? So in a world of emergent crises with WFP predicting global malnutrition and hunger crises, the expansion of authoritarian rule and the decline of democracies around the world, as well as the emergence of intrastate and interstate conflict again, we're starting to see the need to rapidly assess really complex situations and get enough accurate data that we can respond accordingly. And so why web intercept? RIWI works on web intercept on any connected internet connected device. Over 66% of the population is now connected, as this chart shows, South Asia and Sub-Saharan Africa. Definitely we need to improve who has accessibility there, but annual growth rates are showing that they're starting to increase much more rapidly than the rest of the world. And pretty soon we'll have many more people connected to the internet. And then, of course, why responsibly? And so humanitarian organizations over the last 4 or 5 years have really recognized that the need to collect only minimal amounts of information and to anonymize it where possible. So state and non-state actors can't infiltrate and exploit that to do harm to those they're trying to help.
And one of the most recent examples that we've seen is through our work on monitoring migration patterns and rates of internal displacement with our partner, the Internal Displacement Monitoring Center in Ukraine. And as you can see on the graph, our data showed that 20% of our respondents were likely to be displaced by April 2022, and that number peaked to 30% when Russia began occupying the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. However, despite all of this, we were still able to reach respondents on the move because of their access to mobile internet usage.
Similarly, in the Lake Chad region, we're able to assess malnutrition rates on a daily basis by asking people how many meals they consumed yesterday. As this chart shows, Cameroon was consuming a lot less per day, and you can respond accordingly to that.
And so, given everything that we've talked about so far, what does RIWI solve for? Our methodology reaches the quiet voices, the disengaged, young, or politically inactive populations. Our methodology is very well positioned to delve into sensitive issues while maintaining respondent security because we do not collect any personally identifiable information. Our methodology also removes interviewer bias and effects that will most likely skew the respondents' answers. And finally, our methodology collects in a timely manner and a continuous feed.
And now, speaking of continuous feeds, this is the example of our survey, as well as, and we'll show the dashboard where that data is collected. So as people are intercepted, they can see the privacy policy that's available to them there. They see what information we collect before they choose to respond to our survey. Then we can get right into asking questions around they think their country is heading in the right direction, ask them things about elections and voting intentions, as well as their beliefs around that. We can ask in any language that's relevant to the population, and we can ask about economic, financial situations over, of affording luxuries or just, getting by. This is a question we're fielding in Ukraine on the unusual disruptions that happen. And so we're looking at internet, electricity interruptions, and assessing where resources need to be put there, as well as government institutions. Can they affect change? How much do you support them? And so as we look into the dashboard, these are our results from China from January of 2023. And what we dove into here was around trust for federal and municipal governments, as well as geopolitical issues related to that. So as you can see, the age and gender characteristics of our respondents are recorded here. We can look at financial income, as well as political status, whether they're part of a party or not. And then just looking at trust and support between federal governments, between local governments, as well as foreign policy objectives. So we'll jump into the trust in local governments expressed by our Chinese respondents, and we can do it by age group. And as we look into the age groups, we really start to see some pretty interesting points on distrust. Those above 55 and 64, that age group's almost twice as likely to distrust the local government than the other age demographics. And if you look at 65 and above, actually 42% highly trust the government. So you can start to really look in how these factors of demography and age and gender can influence that right from the dashboard.
And while our methodology is really well suited to accurately track populations that are constantly on the move, it is also very well suited to work in restricted environments where the internet is heavily monitored, like Russia or Iran. We also can do a lot of work on countries in conflict, such as Ukraine, like we previously mentioned, as well as discuss global health issues like COVID-19 or gender-based violence, and of course, do work in the misinformation and disinformation space, like Sam just showed.
And our applications, more than just survey, we have randomized controlled trials, test messaging, rapid response, and audience redirects that we can take them to your own institution's resources or counter disinformation sources there as well. So thank you very much for this very quick tech demo, and we hope you enjoyed it, and please reach out with any questions.